Hi, my name is Matthew, and I'm a Family and Human Services student at Brigham Young University. Perhaps you're like me. Perhaps you see the effects that technology have had on our world in such a short amount of time. You see everyone staring at their phones. You see people being ignored. You see real-world situations in lunchrooms and at dinner tables, in lines and on the street where we could be having real conversations with real people, but we're distracted by technology. Perhaps you're like me and you're seeing some people that you love and care about being pulled away by these ever more addictive and affecting technologies. Perhaps you've seen these rapid changes in such a short amount of time. The purpose of my workshop today is to understand the effects that these technologies and devices and software has on children and families, and how we can, as parents and as people who care about one another, to rebuild and understand what's going on. The goal for today's workshop is to help parents and anyone who's interested to recognize how technology shapes family dynamics, children's development, and build practical strategies to restore meaningful connection, communication, and trust within the home. So raise your hand, your virtual hand, or hit the like if you have ever felt that you're competing with a screen for your child's attention. Perhaps it's your husband, perhaps it's a co-worker, perhaps it's anybody. Have you ever missed something in your child's life because of technology? Have you found yourself distracted? Have you found yourself missing those little subtle hints? Have you had a fight because of this? Have you felt disappointed because of this? Have you felt that subtle ache where you feel that you are not where you're supposed to be, and you feel the pull to try to help and bring back someone who may be missing out on life, missing out on real world things? So ask yourself what you hope to achieve today. And the biggest point that I want to get across is that before we seek to have any influence over anybody in a good way, we need to first connect and to understand with them, to learn some new skills and to step into their world and maybe do some things which are a little bit uncomfortable. So there's some research-backed insights that excessive screen time is linked to health and developmental issues in children, and we certainly see it in adults. Technology fundamentally reshapes brain development and family dynamics and communication. Things like ADHD, anxiety, depression, and electronic screen syndrome have raised concerns amongst all who are involved. And we understand that digital tech may reduce family interaction and increase conflict. Maybe you've seen these things yourself. Excessive use of gadgets pose a variety of health risks, including developmental problems, musculoskeletal problems, lack of physical activity, obesity, inadequate sleep quality, and staring at an electronic screen continuously for a long time causes distress, and too much gadget use can also affect long-term vision problems. These things are rife within our rising generation, and this is from a study that was done in 2024. However, the electronic landscape is changing, and it also does offer other opportunities to connect with people who are distant. There's 3 levels of parenting that were discussed in this study in 2024. The first level parenting class represented 43% of parents that were labeled digitally connected, because the majority of child level classes nested within it, which was 86%, were in distant but digitally connected, tight-knit and digitally connected classes. The second level represented 31% of parents was labeled mixed, because the majority of children in this class were in 3 different child level classes: tight-knit traditional, detached, and sociable. The third level parenting class represents 26% of parents. They were labeled intimate but distant, close but separated. because more than half of the children in this class were intimate but distant at a child level class. And we see the growing effects that digital technology and digital communication can have on the closeness that we share amongst our families, whilst also creating some opportunities when we're physically distant. A child's developing sensory and motor systems are not biologically evolved to deal with the chaotic nature of today's technology. Adults struggle with this. We know. You're one of them. I'm one of them. For a child that doesn't have the experience and the boundaries and the structure there are affected by this way more than we understand. The impact of rapidly advancing technology on child's development can be seen more and more in the form of physical, mental, and behavioral disorders that are recognized and less understood by the health and educational systems. The positive and negative effects of digital technology on the cognitive, social, and emotional development of children were discussed in this study, which was from 2025. Thomas Sowell's common quote, "There are no solutions, only trade-offs." So in the search for convenience, in the search for a ever busy life where we seek to keep children entertained and connected, in the search for these solutions, we've only found a number of trade-offs. So in this 2021 study, in the era shaped by Google and limitless access to digital information, there are potential costs for cognitive and brain development in terms of efficiency and accuracy of performance, especially younger children whose attention systems and executive functions are immature. So they refer to the I-brain and query the technological alteration of the modern mind, whilst Carteris refers to the ADHD epidemic. Dr. Victoria Dunkley, an American psychiatrist, noted an 800% increase in the last 30 years in ADHD, referring to electronic screen syndrome as an unrecognized disorder. In contrast, in 2013, Reich argues that the digital technology pushes out shared family life and limits children's direct interactions with parents, siblings, and other family members. According to Huseman, Edwards, and Catapano, the digital technology use in families leads to increased conflict and quarrels. This is probably the most disturbing study. So in the first two columns is 2010, the second two columns is 2015. So we see that a 13 or so % increase in children who suffered sleep deprivation due to internet use, and almost doubled felt frustration when not online from 2010 to 2015. They realized they've spent time on the internet for subjects that they're not even interested in, 36 compared to 52%. They've ignored family, friends, or work or school during the hours that they spent on the internet, almost a double jump. They wanted to spend less time on the internet but failed, 33 compared to 51% in 2015. Imagine how much that has jumped in the last 10 years. They've also looked for new friends on the internet. These last two show us that children and even adults and the people we love and care about need support, and they want support, but often don't know how to connect for these issues that they don't know how to talk about yet. So let's take stock. Write down 3 things you most want your children to learn from you about relationships and communication. Grab a note, pause the video, write down. Is it about intimacy? It is about the nuance of communication. Is it about how to resolve conflict? Is it about being able to open up about your feelings without being judged? Is it being able to always tell the truth and share what things are important to you? Is it about honesty and openness? What things do you want your children to learn from you about relationships and communication? Let's watch a video.
Something happened in the early 2010s. And my argument in the book is a tragedy in two acts. The first act is the loss of the play-based childhood. You were out with your friends after school. There was nobody supervising. You had to learn how to work out conflicts, how to face adversity. So that's what kids have had for hundreds of thousands of years. It's part of being a mammal. You play, you develop skills. We began to crack down on that, to lock kids up in the 90s, to not let them out. So we're restricting what they most need, which is play, from the 90s through the 2000s. But mental health doesn't collapse then. It's actually pretty stable. Then we get Act Two, which is the arrival of the phone-based childhood. And what that is in 2010, everybody had a flip phone. The iPhone had come out, but most teens had a flip phone. No front-facing camera, no social media on the phone, no high-speed data. And by 2015, everyone's got all those other things. Now suddenly everyone has a smartphone, front-facing camera, high-speed internet, social media, especially Instagram, on the phone. And almost like someone turned a switch in 2013, girls in America and many other countries suddenly become very anxious, depressed, and self-harming.
We all know somebody. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a family friend, maybe it's someone you go to school with or someone you work with who has a child who's affected by ADHD, anxiety, depression, and we see that there's a direct correlation and causation between the rise of the use of these things and the epidemic of mental health and relationship breakdown and communication breakdown in our children. Another video. Children need to be seen and heard, and not doing that creates conflict.
I apologize, but I don't know that your son needs our program. I think maybe you need our program. And then the parent says, no, I don't need anything. I'm not the one with the problem. My son is the one with the problem. And we say, well, we beg to differ. We've done 5 or 6 research studies on this. And what we discovered is that if your son is having trouble with technology, you're probably the one who needs to learn particular skills. And this is the unfortunate truth, is that parents are on the front line. You can't expect your 15-year-old to regulate their video game addiction. You can't expect the game developer or the government or even pediatricians or teachers to solve the problem. And so what we've really discovered is that parents need new skills that they didn't need before. Because if you think about how do we learn how to be parents, we learn what our parents used with us. Well, when our parents were raising us, they didn't have to deal with technology addiction. This is a new thing. And what we're really discovering is that parents do need to learn a new set of skills to be effective in today's modern day and age.
It's difficult to hear, but we do need to learn a new set of skills. We can't avoid, we can't dismiss, we can't shut our eyes to the things that are affecting us and affecting our children anymore. This is a relationship problem. It's not a child problem alone. It's not a parent problem alone, but it is a relationship problem. They need to learn things. We need to learn things. And we need to learn how to connect and navigate through what is going on while still being able to live a life that's integrated. We can't separate ourselves from technology. But we can learn to see what we need and what we don't need. And we can and are forced to learn a new set of skills and abilities to be able to keep the closeness that we have to the ones that we love and care about without being and letting them being affected by such powerful new technologies. Another video.
So it starts by understanding your kid and like building an alliance with them. And then by all means, set healthy limits, right? So the conversation with your kid is, I understand that it's hard. Do you want to go to college? Like you have to sit down with your kid and ask, like, do you want to go to college? What is it like? How do you think you're doing? And the kid is like, I'm terrified because I know I'm not going to get into college. And then the right move for dad is like, you have to ask the kid, okay, I would like to help you if you want to go to college to help you get into college. Do you want my help? Are you afraid that even with my help, you won't be able to make it? I can understand that because I don't know if you're going to make it, but I'm willing to try if you want my help. Because the kid is taking the power. You guys get that? Dad is like trying to exert power in the relationship and kid is stealing it right back. But kid is going to win. Your kid is going to win. Any conflict between parent and child, kid is going to win. That's what I've learned having 2 daughters, ages 6 and 4, right? Even if the parent wins, the parent loses. So you have to support your kid, collaborate with your kid, build an alliance with your kid.
I want you to think and do this activity. When do you feel most connected with this person who's affected, with your child? When do you feel closest? When do you feel that they're the most open and you're the most open with them? When do you feel that real love, that real bond? Next, what is the happiest moment in your family recently? Think about it. Write it down. What were you doing? Where were you? Who was with you? Was it inside or outside? Who was there? What happened? And take stock. I've done this activity with my kids heaps of times. They are heavy game users, and almost universally, whenever I ask them what's the happiest moment that they've had, it is a time when we were together. There was no technology involved, and we did something to make each other laugh or shared a special and memorable moment of some kind. Next, think about the tech habits in your home and what strengthen or weaken those moments. Think about what brings you closer together and what draws you apart. So, for example, I know of families who are at different parts of the world. They live in Australia, in America, and overseas, who use technology, who play video games online as a way to connect and share moments. I'm not saying that's going to work for everybody, nor that it is healthy, but it's a way where technology can bridge physical and distance gaps. Even in my own family, we love our movies, as most do, and we have a family movie night. But it's one where we choose the movie together. Nobody gets left out, and we all share and watch the one screen. And those shared moments and the joy and the experience or going through the journey and the story of the movie together draws us closer, and is something we've grown to love. So the next activity is, what is one small step that you can take this week to increase that connection and build the alliance? A small step. So the key here is, if it brings conflict, you're not going in the right direction. It's something that's going to be unique to your family, unique to your situation. You're going to have to step outside of your comfort zone and think of something that maybe that your child or your family is unique to you, something that they like. And please write these down, share experiences in the comments. Family outings are some of my favorites. Family meal times, family game nights, family movie nights, shared sports activities, a lot of these things. And what does your family do that brings you closer together? So this is an activity for you, for the concerned person. List all the devices in the household. So what do we got? Tablets, phones, laptops, gaming devices of all shapes and sizes, televisions, anything that's plugged in that has a screen. So next, discuss who uses what, when, and for what purpose. What is for entertainment? What is for education? What is just for social? Write down every single detail for every person and help them to do the activity themselves. Next, mark of those devices which foster closer connection and which erode it. And identify one small change that your family and you yourself, and please include yourself because we're leading by example here, can improve your family connection. No phones during meals, no phones during family outings, something that doesn't lead to conflict. So once we've done this, we're looking at rebuilding. And as Dr. K says, we are needing to step outside of our comfort zone and learn a new set of skills. So what I'd like you to do for the next little while, for the next couple of weeks, is observe. So once you've taken stock of who uses what, observe how they use that. What times of the day. This is without being intrusive. This is without being confrontational. This is without being judgmental. Just be a curious observer. What apps do they use? What devices do they use? What time of day? What patterns do they have? What repetitions do you use? Look for the body language cues. Are they excited? Are they tired? Are they engaged? Are they not engaged during these times? And this is about prioritizing the connection that you have with this person over any results. We're not looking for a change or results at this time. This is purely about connection, understanding, seeing them, seeing the world through their eyes, understanding their perspective. And most importantly, I want you to look for bids for connection. This is a principle that's come out of the Gottman Institute, John and Julie Gottman, and it's those little times, those small times and opportunities where they will be seeking your attention. Maybe it's, hey, mommy, look at this. Hey, daddy, look at that. Hey, did you see this? Hey, can I show you that? Hey, this happened today. Hey, guy, this amazing thing happened to me. No matter what it is, even if it does involve technology, understand those bids, look for them and respond to them. This is a time and an important time where you drop everything that you're doing, and they are your 100% focus. Just for a moment, to see the world through their eyes. And then you take those moments and you build from them. So what questions can you ask to understand your child, their relationship to technology, and what they're going through? And this is where you're going to become an investigator. What questions can you ask? Elaborate on this. So in the police, we use the TEDS model, tell, explain, describe. Tell me more about this thing. Can you explain to me about this thing? Can you describe to me more about this thing? And this is not about talking, this is about listening. Then just shut up. Just focus, listen to them, listen to their body language, listen to their emotions, listen to everything, and pay attention. And then watch what happens. So as we wind up, take some time to journal and reflect. Our children feel most safe and loved when they see and feel us fully present, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. This is the concept of digital fidelity. So where we show the same attentiveness to our family as we do to our phones or to our work. And we need to look at whether technology has become a pseudo relationship to your child. Now, what do I mean by this? In the olden days, if we felt down, if we felt hurt or affected by something in a deep way, we would have someone who we would go to, a loved one. We would seek solace, we would seek comfort from. If we had a question, we would go to grandparents, we would go to our parents, we would go to someone who we knew in the family who was that person who knew everything. But now we've replaced those connections, those relationships with technology. We go to Google when we have a question. We go to ChatGPT when we have a question. We seek solace from technology instead of solace from people. And these things have become a wedge. These things happen even from the youngest time. So when a child is growing and developing, and I'm talking 6 months to 2 years old, when they see those patterns of being ignored, or they see the way that their parent or caregiver uses technology, they start to form the pattern that that thing that a parent or loved one or caregiver is attached to is the most important thing in the room. They want to know why. They want to know why I'm ignored because of this thing. And so that's where their connection to that begins. They're forming a bond and an attachment with a piece of technology unknowingly because of our examples. And what we're seeking to do here is to see the effect that that has on our loved ones, and then seeking to rebuild and reshape those relationships and become that person again. Please, as you observe, as you watch, as you ask those questions, as you listen, as you pay attention to the bids, record your observations, because in future workshops we're going to build on from these we first observe and understand before we have any influence of any kind. And when you see these bids, when you see these opportunities for them to reach out, what is the message behind the message? What are they trying to communicate with you? Is it really about the thing they're showing you, or is it because they want to feel close to you? The next workshop is going to build from that and try to understand and build the relationships deeply, to help them to open up to you about their experience, to help them to show to you what they are really going through. And then in the third one, which is the most important one, is to create a family technology plan where we use the child's own agency in order to build a plan where they are a part of, a plan that they build where they use their agency, where they use their freedom of choice and honesty to create boundaries for themselves, where we support them, encourage them, and guide them in order to have the best experience possible. Because we know from the studies that they want to spend less time on there. We know the things that are missing in their life, that their sleep is suffering, that their relationships are suffering, and that there's conflict as a result of that. But the key is to help them to make these decisions on their own, and they need our support more than ever. If you please have any questions, reach out, please comment, please share this with anyone who you think might be suffering, with anyone who you think might need it. If you have any ideas for things that I can do better or build on from the future, please reach out or comment. Thank you.